Hey y'all, and welcome to another Crochet Story Time with Charlie. This is our very first subscriber submitted episode by Miss Bobby McGee in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And this is going to be about Riverdale Road, Colorado's most haunted highway. Now, imagine driving down a lonely stretch of road just outside Denver, Colorado. City lights slowly fade out, and all you see is fields replacing neighborhoods. Now, the area is sparsely lit, almost no traffic. Silence feels unusually heavy. Now, this is what's called Riverdale Road in Adams County, Colorado. Now, this is an 11-mile stretch, 10 or 11-mile stretch of public road between Thornton to Brighton in Adams County, Colorado. Now, it's not just known for one single attraction on the whole strip. There are multiple haunted attractions on this strip of road. The most famous being the Gates of Hell. Now, the Gates of Hell are about, well, let's back up a little bit. The Gates of Hell legend comes from the Walpert House legend. So this is the legend of David Walpert. So David Walpert was born. He came to Colorado from Ohio in 1859. Built a house there during the frontier era. Established a farm near the South Platte River, which runs along the west. The road runs along the western edge of the South Platte River in Colorado. Now, he married a woman in 1864 named Catherine Henderson, and they raised a family on this property. Now, for more than a century, the house and everything remained quiet, and it was also important enough for the house to be included on the National Registry for Historical Places. Now, what happened with the legend starts on the morning of November 28th, 1975, when the Walpert House caught fire. Now, the house, according to the Denver Public Library, wasn't occupied at the time, so there were no major injuries or deaths to report. Second here, guys. Let me finish this stitch. Alright, so now the exact cause of that fire was unknown. Now, if you've ever heard any stories of Riverdale Road before, it usually goes something like this. The crazed homeowner murders his entire family and sets the mansion ablaze, leaving behind an angry spirit that comes to haunt the property today. Now, in the story that we're going to, problem is the evidence doesn't tell you that. So, in the story that we're going to talk about today, what we actually know is that in the 19th century that it did burn in 1975, and it was a 19th century mansion. The fire cause still remains unknown, and also the former home site eventually did become associated with what is now the Pelican Ponds open space, which is also known as the Gates to Hell. All right. Now, what this became like, I told you the events became known as the Gates of Hell. Excuse me. Among the most famous one of these legends is the Phantom Jogger. Drivers claim to see someone running along the roads at night who taps on their windows, and then, when they stop, there's no one there. Another legend also tells about the Lady in White. Witnesses describe a woman in white dressed standing near the roadway and then suddenly disappears into the darkness. Also, now the strangest one of all is the Ghost Camaro. Drivers have been reported being chased by an older Camaro with a missing headlight. And then, they go and go and go, and try to get away from this car, but it always is just inches behind them. And then, once everything, it vanishes without explanation. So there's a lot of those stories. Now, the Adams County Historical Society and Museum demonstrates how deeply these stories have become known into local culture. And, information about the Walpert Mansion does reference legends involving ghost children, hangings, burnings, phantom chimeras, the mystery jogger, all that kind of thing. But that is the gates of hell, is where the Walpert Mansion actually is. Um, Now, modern media has helped keep this Riverdale Road firmly planted in the culture. Also, like the countless teenagers before they made a checklist. You got to hear the jogger. You got to see the lady in white. Avoid spotting 7 deer, which local folklore claims is an especially ominous sign. Did they prove any ghosts exist? No. But however, the tradition remains alive. One second. Still trying to start my next run. Sorry, I apologize about this, guys. Just want to make sure I get the round started for Miss Layla's hat before I continue. Alright. Now, perhaps, like I said multiple times here in this story, the, most famous legend of them all is the gates of hell. The name alone sparks curiosity. So, why are the gates of hell so important here in Colorado? Now, that does documented history supports this. Now, in 1975, like I said, there was a report of a fire that burned down the mansion. Now, what this left was just an old iron gate. And then river fog, unexplained fire, isolated landscape, darkness, long stretches of empty pavement, teenage curiosity. All these stories make this road the most haunted place in history. Now, does this place pique your curiosity? Does this place make you want to go see the gates of hell? Does this story make you want to learn more? Let me know if I need to elaborate more on any other stories. I want to make these videos for you guys a little bit longer, so please let me know what I can improve. Let me know what I can do to help you guys. Please submit your stories so we can make these ventures more fun. And please let me know if you like the videos. Love you guys. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and we'll see each other on the next one. Have a good day.